What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown to the GeekCast. My name is Steady. With me on this episode is the man behind the magic. You know him as Joe Garcia.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm excited because the Spurs did not win against the Suns, but damn it if they didn't play a great game
I
in
was
that fourth
recording
quarter.
it. I was gonna
I'm
watch
just
it
saying,
later.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Thanks. Yes, it's awesome. And the other person is Jericho.
Oh, hey, yeah, I'm the new guy, the other guy.
Last but
I,
never
I gotta
least,
say,
one
I,
and
I
only
need,
Jericho.
I was gonna say I need something because we get the man, the myth, the legend. We have the man behind the magic, and you know him as Jericho. I'm like, just
I
think of
said
something.
the one and the only Jericho. One and only.
We need something, Ted. We need
We
something
need
else.
something
We
more.
start workshopping
It's
some
too
intros for me.
hard. All right. I'll figure it out. All right.
Oh
We got a
man,
great show for all you guys who aren't complaining about your introductions. We're going to be talking about the latest episode of Hawkeye. We also got a Christmas bit that we're going to discuss later on in the show. But
yep.
first, we're going to be talking all about the latest episode of Young Justice Phantoms. And that's episode 9. And this is the third arc in the season 4 of Young Justice. Phenomenal so far. And I think episode 9, if you guys probably agree with me, is also staying in line with that. The arcs have been great. The writing's been great. The action, the drama, the twists. And I think this episode might be the most intriguing for me of all because of all the backstory that we got laid out in this
Yeah.
one for both Vandal Savage as well as Clarion to some extent. But yeah, let's go ahead and just real quick do sort of a reaction or first impression on episode 9. Jericho, start with you, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, definitely in my top favorite right now because, like you said, we get a backstory for Vandal, even though we've kind of had it in other, I want to say other shows or movies. I can't remember, but he's been in a bunch.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like with Clarion, I mean, we've never really knew anything about him, and now we got a pretty, pretty small taste. Um, and even just seeing Zatanna teaching, having her students and teaching them, and I thought that was really cool.
She's a
Especially,
Jedi master.
what's that?
She's a Jedi master now.
Exactly,
She's
exactly. She
teaching the
went from
Force
Padawan. There you go.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
awesome.
so she looks like she's recovered from her dad, and like, or unless she's put that on hold for now, I don't know. But she's doing really well, and she's perfect teacher for these kids, and I think it's really cool that Mary's there. Former part of the Shazam family. So
Yep.
I thought that's awesome. So, but yeah, really good episode. Like I said, definitely one of my top favorites right now for the season.
Joe, now you mentioned you kind of saw this episode a little bit. Is that true, or you just
Yeah,
joshing
no, I
us?
saw it. I saw it. It kind of gave me vibes of, kind of like Shark instead of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, Cat Boy, and Madame Xanadu or whatever, going on. It was crazy, dude. I was like, this is the first
Cat
episode I
boy.
watched all season. I was like,
You're
am I
like
watching
you're
like
like
Cat Boy
100
and Lava
episodes
Girl?
behind, man. You're like
Yes.
100
Yeah.
episodes behind.
I'm just
You
like,
can't just start.
is Cat Boy and Lava Girl? It's like this is what
But
Teddy's all excited about, man.
Oh no!
but I was gonna
Oh
say,
no!
let me ask you, Joe. Does this intrigue you to go back and watch the rest, or you maybe need to see a couple more?
No, I want to go and check it out. This is just
Okay.
dealing with a lot of the, you know, dark arts, magic,
Oh yeah.
mysticism, that kind of stuff, which is cool. I dig it and all that. They did
Absolutely.
some backstories on one of the characters, showing what was going on with his story arc, as far as what he is and what happened to him and his tribe, that he
Hmm.
so aptly named Atlantis, uh, and that didn't end well because you had the
No.
cat boy. They had
I,
cat boy
I I
sitting on
think
all the
that's gonna be his new name is Catboy.
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
cat boy. That's his new name, and it's not witch boy, it's cat boy. You
Yeah.
know. And then they had another girl that they introduced. I don't even know who that character is,
Oh
but
yeah.
that blonde girl,
Child.
child. And she goes because the
Child.
security guard goes, "Oh, child." She goes, "I like it."
That was a
And
weird line.
Yeah. And then
Like
she's
I
then
would be more concerned of the fact that there's anybody there in what was it, like a
Right?
museum or jewelry or something? Like
I think it
not
was a
just like,
museum.
oh,
Yeah.
child. Like,
yeah,
bro,
like
like
why is a kid in here? A jewelry store.
yeah,
Cop
Let's
could cop was just trying to do his job, man. I would have just said I'm out.
right.
I don't get paid enough. Looked at her and said, I'm out.
Someone left their kid behind. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I don't get paid enough to be a babysitter. Poor dude, man. And then they showed him all messed up, all strung out like some type of science
Oh man.
experiment, man.
which was
We'll get to that. We'll
awesome.
get to that. Yeah.
We're gonna get
The
to that.
guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna kind of agree with you guys. It was a great episode. I told JC in our last episode, we did get a lot of Zatanna in season 3, and it's because we had a lot of other probably characters to introduce, which is fine.
Hmm.
But love me some Zatanna, and let's see. I love the episodes that she's in. She's always had some very dramatic, very emotional episodes in dealing with Dr. Fate taking over her pops in previous seasons
Hmm.
and whatnot. So great to see her back, and great to see her back in this form. She is a Jedi Master, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She knows
And you
what
like
she's
her because of
doing.
her because who she's voiced by. That's why.
I mean, yeah, Lacey, yeah, which is, what she sounds. I don't know if she's voicing her differently, but she definitely sounds different. And
Like a little more grown up though, right? Like they
I
all
mean,
More
seem
mature.
more.
definitely. So it's probably intentional to
Yeah,
some extent, or maybe just Lacey's voice is changing. I have no idea.
maybe
Yeah,
she's getting
a
up in
friend of
age now.
mine, Lacey. I'm just gonna throw that out
You
there.
met her one time, bro.
You know what? How many times did you meet
A
her?
close personal friend of mine. No mames.
Right? We go way
No,
back.
but Zatanna's great, and the episodes that she's always in is great. We didn't just
Yeah.
like I mentioned, we didn't get a lot of her in season 3, so very cool that she's in this one and that she's now like the teacher, literally, and she's like true to form. Like she's got
Hmm.
all these spells down. She's not hesitant like she used to be. She's not confusing things. She's not believing in herself when she's casting spells left and right.
Right.
She's got it all down, and can't wait to see like what else she's gonna pull and what else she's gonna do. Yeah,
But they
fantastic.
got bodied. They got bodied by Catboy, man.
Hang on, we're gonna get to that. Let's start with the cold open, because I think there's a lot of information that we're given in this episode that we need to really keep in the back of our minds as we
Hmm.
move forward through this arc and probably through the rest of the season. So episode 9 of Young Justice Phantoms, titled Undo, but backwards.
Yeah.
So undo? Yes.
Ode new. Odd
Old
new.
new. That's right. Odd new. There you go. We start with a cold open in which a narrator describes pure beings of energy, the lords of order and the lords of chaos, which must be kept balanced unless the universe will be destroyed. And this is how this arc starts. Manhattan, May 13th. Mary, who Joseph Jericho already mentioned before, Khaled and Tracy are conducting an exercise capturing trogs and are being trained by Zatanna herself. One of the gem-like lords of chaos travels to Earth and releases a surge of energy, blacking out entire cities, and the energy is felt by many. My question to you guys is, what is your theory on what this surge of energy that sort of travels around the globe, what is its purpose other than Clarion kind of feeling it? What else could that surge of energy be doing? Because that's a massive like action. That's a lot of activity
Yeah.
to start out with, and we don't get a whole lot. It kind of just puts out the lights for a minute, and then everything comes back on. But anybody who sort of magic powered understands the severity of the situation.
Hmm.
Jericho, do you have a theory about this?
Not yet. I mean, it's clear that it's pure evil. Um, I just don't know.
It's
Um,
interesting.
yeah, it is. Like it's you don't get to see things like this. You usually just see an evil figure, somebody who's been established, but this is like, yeah, pure energy took on a human form. Um, and the fact that it freaked Clarion out, Madame Xanadu, and was like said that she hasn't felt this in this lifetime. Like that's pretty crazy to hear. Um, so yeah, I mean, I have no idea where it's going to go. There, of course, there's a great purpose here, and she had to get the stone of Atlantis, and who knows? Who know? We don't know where it's going to. Where what is she summoning, or but it's maybe the apocalypse. Maybe she's close to bringing down more evil, or she needs to bring in the rest of the evil energy down there.
Not that
But
not that
who
I'm gonna
knows?
argue not that I'm gonna argue with you about this, but sort of in the cold open, the narration, we're to understand that these things aren't inherently evil or inherently good. Like chaos is chaos, it doesn't necessarily mean it's evil, and order is order, doesn't necessarily mean it's good, but you do need the both of them in order to keep balance. Although isn't
Right?
just a lot of order balanced already? I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, I guess I'm gonna hold back until I mean, obviously this person's not great. She's
Yeah.
dissecting security guards. We'll talk about that in a second. But I think we're supposed to understand, at least to a certain extent, that it's not going to be good versus evil in this arc. There might be some blurred lines. There might be some moral ambiguous issues that we're going to be
Yeah.
dealing with going forward, and that worries me. That worries me a lot. So yeah, Joe, you like stuff like this, talking about science and kind of paranormal things. This surge of energy that goes around the globe, is it just an announcement that they're here, or is there more being done? What are your thoughts?
I think there's something inside the actual look like a gem of some or a capsule of some kind
Mm,
containing
Yeah.
something. What that might be, we don't know, but you could actually feel that, that energy that it emitted. It was like a kind of like a signal, so to speak, to everybody else, that was magically enhanced or influenced. They all knew that there was something up. Um, but they were in a summoning circle. That's the thing, a child and cat boy, the witch boy. They were in that summoning circle, which leads me to believe that they both know what they're wanting to do, because you're in a summoning circle, you're there to summon something or to
yeah.
bring forth an entity. Maybe the entity that they want is inside that little triangular shaped shard or
Hmm.
gem. It could be some type of presence. We don't know what it is. Of course it'll probably be revealed, but you can tell some bad shit's about to happen.
Well,
But
and
you
it
know
makes
that
you wonder too, because like if Clarion's there, it almost looked like he was there to help, maybe to understand what's going on, but it looked like he was kind of there to help, but also, so at this point, and he's evil. He's straight up pure evil too. So it's like, yes, he was going to try and figure out what she's there for, but is he going to be helping her, or is he going to be trying to stop her?
He seems
Like,
worried. He
yeah,
doesn't seem like he's happy she's here. He seems very agitated that she's here. And I actually mentioned this in kind of my next plot point, which is also great because the next scene that we get is actually about the light. So if you
yeah,
had any questions on whether or not the light was still, hanging around, they obviously are. And not only that,
yeah,
but they're still making metas. They're just they have a loophole and they're doing it legally now. They're having volunteers in order to make metas. Joe, this was a plot point from season 3. The bad guys were making superheroes, but for bad reasons. So now they're making metas, and there's nobody really to stop them because the people, I guess, they want to be metas. It's at
hmm,
this very moment though when Clarion becomes agitated after feeling the energy surge. Like he starts screaming, and
yeah,
it's weird to see Clarion um, acting acting in this manner, and he's not fighting with anybody like Dr. Fate. That's the only other time we see that, when he's got to go up against somebody who's just as powerful as him, and
right,
maybe that's a good indication of like who this individual or this being is. This is a really cool part. We get a quick flashback and learn that one of the early settlements created by Vandal Savage was destroyed by Clarion, like burned to the ground. All the people, probably many relatives of Vandal Savage, probably populated
Hmm.
this village, all just slaughtered. Um, After that, Savage and Clarion go head to head, and Clarion figures out right away that this individual is immortal. And he tests out those limits of immortality for 300 days. This is sort of like a Doctor
Jeez.
Strange loop,
Hmm.
with Dormammu type situation, like murdering him and murdering him just to see like how he works and figure him out a little bit.
But
Yeah,
like
pretty
brutally murdering him, like
absolutely.
holy crap.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about this, Jericho? Getting this flashback with Clarion and Vandal Savage meeting for the first time.
I think um, this is probably the first time we see something to this extent. They've always shown where he has like a cut or something and he heals, no big deal. So we get it, you're immortal. But here, I mean, he had the first blow was a huge hole in his chest, through
Yeah.
and through, and um, seeing him go through that for 300 days, I mean, it was torture, but it didn't stop him, and he even said, or I think the narrator said how he just didn't give up. It did knock him down, like he kept getting back up, and it basically pissed off Clarion. So I think it was pretty cool to see how long, or that Clarion and Vandal have been acquaintances for this long. So they know each other pretty well, or you would think. Um, so it was pretty brutal to see that. Like I can't imagine. That's almost a full year of being killed over and over and over again.
There you
Like
go.
that's insane.
Joe, your thoughts on this flashback? I know that you don't know these characters as much, from not seeing the show, but what did you take away from these flashbacks?
I thought it was pretty cool to see, him battling the
Yeah.
cat boy, the witch boy, and just the pure savagery that he had to endure, being brutally killed for 300 straight days. That's going to take a toll on your mind at some point. It's like a bad dream you can't get rid of or wake up
Hmm.
from, and there's no end in sight until finally um, Savage finally says, oh, you know what, let's meet here again in 1,000 years. And the cat boy's intrigued and he's like, okay, know I'll play along, let's see what you're gonna bring in about 1,000 years. But while you all were talking, I kind of pulled up the wiki and looked at what's going
Uh-oh.
on with Vandal Savage, and it turns out the guy is, well, in the comics they have him as a Crow Magnon warrior, Crow Magnon man kind of thing,
Yeah.
and he gained his immortality after he came in contact with a meteorite.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, so that's going to be interesting if they actually maybe
Well,
even
they
show
showed
that.
it. They
Did
showed
they?
the meteor in a quick scene at the end, I think. And then
Yeah.
they kind of just showed faces for Savage and who else? There was like two or three faces they showed in front of this meteor. And it was odd that they showed the meteor with these other individuals. Like they have nothing to do with it, but Savage does. And they've actually, I think it was season 3, they kind of talked about the meteor a little bit, that
Yeah.
incident, and explain how he's like been conquering civilizations throughout history. I'm pretty sure it was season 3. We got a little bit of a history
Yeah.
lesson,
2 or 3,
but
one of
yeah,
those. Probably
he's
3.
yeah. If anything else, he's a crafty individual, and so this had to be an early civilization, right? Like we're not 1,000 years ahead from that meeting. I think that happened thousands and thousands of years before.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder what happened the 1,000 years afterwards, and if Savage is playing Clarion to a certain extent.
Oh, he has to, because I know, like another. I don't know if it was in. I don't think it was Young Justice, but there may have been another movie that he was in, an animated one where he started off as essentially a caveman.
Hmm.
Just like dumb, barely spoke any words, and after he was hit by the meteor or touched or whatever, he became intelligent and immortal and all that. So, and you saw how as he grew, as the time went on, he got smarter, learned, uh, took over, like, you're saying, civilization. So
Yeah,
I think at this point, by the time he and Clarion have met, yeah, it's probably he's probably been like this for quite a long time. I don't know how long, but a long time. And yeah, it's very possible he's playing Clarion, and Clarion probably thinks he's the one that's ahead of the game. But I think Vandal's still ahead of it.
absolutely. Going through the rest of the episode, Zatanna and her students travel to meet Madame Xanadu, who sends them to the last known location of the chaos energy burst. They come across the remains of a security guard that was dissected by the child, and I'm not talking about Grogu, that's somebody else. Clarion then shows up, and a magic battle ensues. Clarion has the upper hand, but is distracted after distracted during the fight and flees to meet the child, or just meet
Mhm.
child. The end credit scene has two members of Legion sitting on a park bench watching an episode of the old Star Trek like episode that Gar was a part of.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the rest of the episode. That's where we leave off when Clarion meets up with Child. But I want to say that the magic battle was pretty dope, pretty
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
Mary held her own to a certain extent. Zatanna was great, but Clarion, dude, is a beast, almost like literally. And if he wanted to, he was moments away from ending all of the lives of these individuals, and there was
Oh
nothing they
yeah.
could do to stop him. So luck was on their side in this meeting, in this altercation. I don't think that they should try it again the same way. I think they need some help, or at least have a better strategy, because
Yeah.
the last one didn't work. And I love the dissected security guard moment. Like, that was cool. I really like
Yeah.
that. Um,
I
haven't
think
seen
And
next
it's
anything
time
like
not.
we
that
meet,
in a while.
yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
next time
That.
we meet up against that cat boy, go for the cat first. That seems
Yeah.
like it's what
Now they
he's trying
know.
to do. That's his weakness. Go for the cat.
Now they know. But
Absolutely.
I was gonna say, for as far as the security guard, like I think we've seen other things, maybe not as brutal in a few other episodes, or at least since it got moved to HBO Max. And I think we mentioned this too. Like, I forgot what it was exactly, but there was something like a little bit more blood or something like that. And but this was really cool how they showed him, and just like they said, a science experiment. Completely dissected. You saw blood all over the wall. I mean, it was gross, but like really cool to see.
Yeah. Thought it was, yeah, bold,
Yeah.
surprising, but I loved it. Absolutely
Hmm.
loved it. Theories going forward. Child, we don't know why she's here. Is she really just here to raise some hell? She took the Star of Atlantis and turned it into sort of a rock monster, and it makes you wonder what she needs that for going forward. I don't know. We obviously don't know what her agenda is, but Clarion does seem either intimidated by her or maybe feels challenged by her. He knows who this being is. Doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
need to be a girl. It's just the form that the being takes.
Yeah.
It's a lot like Gozer.
I kind of
Gozer
got
is whoever she wants to be.
I got the impression that she was possessing the body. It wasn't
I,
that she took that form; it's that she was possessing that
Hmm.
person.
that's interesting. Um, but where
That
would
that would be
there was
interesting
no
because
person there though.
I
I
mean,
don't
it's
know.
someone she picked up along, or it picked up along the way.
Yeah, because
Because
she
because
said,
it also makes me wonder why Clarion is dressed the way he is too. I mean, he's a little boy, as far as maybe when he became the witch, and but same thing. Like, he looks like he's almost in a school outfit, sort of kind of deal. So I don't know. Maybe it's just something that, yeah, that she or the being picked up along the way.
yeah, she said something about this body is cute or something like that. I look
Hmm.
cute in this body. To me, if you're saying I look cute in this body, that means you took it over. That means that you're some type
Yeah.
of entity that's possessed a living host.
That's true because it could have just looked like anything really, unless they just
Possibly.
studied. Yeah.
I need to know. I need to look up the Star of Atlantis. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it's used for. I feel like I've seen it before, but I couldn't figure out
Hmm.
what its purpose is, and that might be a reason why when the being touched it, took the form of a girl. It was more so like a gift that was given to the being, not necessarily. I
Interesting.
don't feel like it was a being taking over someone. It was more like a thank you for giving me this form that I did not know of prior. But
Hmm.
why would the star know that? That's
The
what's
star to
curious.
Yeah.
me seemed just like a golem. It's a protector, you know,
Yeah.
and she hid whatever that little red diamond thing was inside of it, inside that Star of Atlantis.
I think the gem is the girl. I think the gem is the girl, and the girl is
Hmm.
just
Okay.
a human form of the gem.
You know what? Now that I think about it, the witch boy, he's tied to that cat, right? That
Right.
cat is what grounds him. You know that he draws the power from the cat, right?
Hmm.
I think what the child did is the same thing, but in this case, she used the Star of Atlantis because it's really strong. So in order to defeat her, you have to defeat that guardian that she has,
Yeah.
which is the
Oh,
Star of
cool.
Atlantis.
Okay, so this is interesting. Is Clarion either a Lord of Chaos, or is he harnessing the power of the Lord of Chaos? And if he's been on Earth for thousands of years, that means the scale is unbalanced.
Right.
Unless there was a Lord of Order already on Earth for the same amount of time, and that could be Dr. Fate.
Possibly because I mean aesthetically they match up. You know, Doctor Fate has that yellow, goldish glow. Clarion and the child or child whatever have that red. So maybe and if you look at the cat, doesn't the cat have like a red jewel
Yep.
dangling on the collar?
Mhm.
You
He
know,
does.
so wow, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. So maybe Clarion is a being that's been on, you know, a being of chaos or Lord of Chaos. Hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Dr. Fate, Naboo, we knew that before, is a Lord of Order.
Okay.
So Clarion, who we have been who's been referred to as like Chaos Incarnate or whatever
Yeah.
they call him. I don't know if he himself is the being, or if the magic is tied to the cat or the cat's jewel, and you harnesses that power of the chaos through the cat. So that would be interesting to figure out,
Yeah.
and it would be more interesting to figure out how this will all end. Because that scale has to be balanced. If not,
Mm-hmm.
everything ends. That was pretty clear in the
Yeah.
cold open. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So now at this point we would need another Lord of Order down on Earth.
You know, one of the
Feels
things
like it.
I think one of the things we kind of overlooked in this whole episode is um, the degradation of one Beast Boy and
Yeah.
his deep depression that he's in. I mean, he's not getting sleep. He's not even doing his chores, and then you see him going to a pharmacy to kind of buy some sleeping pills.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like this. You know, whatever's going on with him as far as this depression that he's in, it looks like it's going to start taking a dark turn. You know, he needs somebody to kind of take him under their wing. You know, at this point, he does need some help. You know, and it seems like
Yeah.
everybody kind of hints at, oh yeah, you know, he's just not, he's just tired. You know, and this and that. It's kind of more than that. It's like I think he needs somebody to kind of really ask him, hey, they haven't said how really like how are you doing? You know, are you okay? No one's asked him that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just trying to talk with him, and he's kind of annoyed. By them is that's it. You know, you're not doing your chores. You need help around here. Oh, okay. Is that it? All right, bye. There's something more going on with him, and I think that. But I never seen this happen in an animated series. So I commend DC for kind of showing this,
Well,
because this is
there is
something that
a
kids go through, and as well as adults.
so there is a it's true, yeah, very true, and I do like that they're touching on that. Um, there is a reason for his suppression that we learned a few episodes before. Something that happens. I won't spoil it, just so you can catch up. Um, but but I will say, given what happened, I don't like how the team or the crew or whatever is not consoling him more or trying to be there more for him. They're just like, hey, yeah, like you said you haven't done your chores yet, and like, oh, you're just tired. Like they know what happened, and why not try and be there more for him? Something, you know what I mean? Like they
Yeah,
just kind of like, oh, that happened to you. Okay, well, we're here if you need anything, and that's it.
yeah,
I'm
because
not.
with him, I see him with the pills, and I'm just like, they kind of leave it like that. I'm like, dude, this is not going to
No,
end well.
Mhm. Yeah,
well,
and
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't know what they could do. I mean, we kind of know that Beast Boy is in this sort of late teen stage, and so this is maybe kind of expected behavior of a teenager who's going through a really hard time, and
Yeah,
they kind of don't. They sort of cry out for help. They're not gonna literally do it. So
right.
he unfortunately has to kind of find his own way, or he needs his sister McGann, who we haven't seen her in a while. So I don't know if she's back on Earth yet or if she's still in transit.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, he's on Earth. Why wouldn't she be? Who knows? Maybe she stuck around a little bit longer. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I
because
I don't
she
want
needs to
this to take
investigate.
I don't want this to take a dark turn, and we're sort of
Yeah.
getting hints of that. So yeah, stop it. Awesome. We want to hear from you guys. What did you think about episode 9 of Young Justice Phantoms, entitled Odd New?
Odd new.
Or
I'd say
just
odd new.
undo in reverse? Let us know in the comments below this video. You can also send us a message on Facebook by clicking that send a message button, or you can always email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowntothegeekcast.com. All right. Great episode. We're going to continue that discussion next week. And we're going to keep going until the end. But we had plenty of episodes to talk about. 26 Young Justice episodes for season 4, and I really hope they aren't taking a break. But if they decide to, I'm not going to hate them for it. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Hawkeye series. We're here to talk about episode 3, which was titled Echoes for obvious reasons. And I'm going to kind of go through a quick summary, and then we're just going to talk about it and all that good stuff. We open on the origin story of Maya, aka Echo, the leader of the Tracksuit Mafia, bro. And Clint and Kate are still being held captive, riding the pony rides, which is hilarious.
They
And
said
now
they needed
being
more quarters because the
Yeah.
ponies stopped.
Clint's having a great time riding the pony, and as well as being interrogated by Echo, who wants vengeance for the death of her father, or pretty much who we assume is her father. Uh, after the interrogation, Clint breaks his restraints, and then a fight ensues. He manages to grab his bow, but not before Echo smashes his hearing aid. After hijacking a car and grabbing his broken hearing aid, uh, they they um, they have a car chase through New York City, where Kate gets to play with Hawkeye's trick arrows, including an acid, a putty, a grenade, a plunger, and a Pimtech arrow, which was pretty effing cool.
Oh yeah.
And also, Clint's got mad driving skills, by the way. They go to get his hearing aid fix, and they get away and spend the rest of the episode brainstorming costume ideas, which he won't wear or acknowledge at all. And while Echo and her first lieutenant worry about their dangerous uncle finding out that they haven't been keeping a low profile, the episode ends with Kate and Clint heading to her parents' place to track this Kazi character, but her mother's
Hmm.
fiance, Jack, stumbles upon them as credits roll. So,
with
Joe.
Ronan's sword.
With
Mm-hmm.
Ronan's sword, of
Ronin
course.
sword.
Joe, talk to us about this episode, man. What did you like? What did you dislike? Go.
What I liked is that I like the introduction more into what Echo is actually is. You know, we kind of
Right.
see her uh, as a backstory. You know, they kind of show her origin. Hey, she's a kid. She's gifted. You know, she is not only smart, but she has the ability to mimic moves or fight moves that she's already seeing. Kind of like we saw what happened with the Black Widow and Taskmaster. You know, but
Right.
she doesn't need enhancement. She's just naturally gifted in that department. Um, and you actually see Ronan in action and how he's just brutally killing everybody that's in that warehouse with the track that's part of the tracksuit mafia without cause. Just because you're part of this group, you're done, you know? And then as she Echo decides to go ahead and enter the building, you see Clint, aka Ronan, jumping out the window, you know, and she has to stop because her father's dying and he dies in her arms, you know, touching her face, which is even kind of more solemn at that point because she's losing a parent, you know, so which is a he's going to have big ramifications moving forward, which is now present day. She's still trying to hunt down Ronan so she can get a revenge because she
Yeah.
saw what Ronan was capable of doing and how he just brutally murdered everybody, including her father. You know, um, I like that. What I kind of didn't like is that the episode was just too short. I wish they were a little bit longer, but it was cool to see again that chemistry that they have. You know, it's you have Clint, you know, which is Hawkeye, and then you have Kate Bishop. You know, and the chemistry that they have. It's like Clint, you know, at this point, he doesn't really care to keep entertaining Kate Bishop, you know, because
Yeah.
to her this is a grand adventure, and he's kind of tired with it. He's like, I just want to get back to my kids. I was about to clear your name, and you fell through the ceiling. You know, it's like you're killing me, Smalls. You know, he's trying to teach her something, but she's so young and she's so inexperienced. She doesn't understand everything, and I think whether he likes to believe it or not, he's slowly starting to become Kate Bishop's mentor, somebody that she's going to be looking up to. And whether he likes to believe it or not, you can already see that he's going to be involved in her training, you know, because there's still a lot of things. It's kind of like Luke Skywalker, the Jedi fighting the Padawan. You know, I think Clint found his Padawan, and she even though she's really gifted, she still needs some help. And you can
Yeah.
see that she's respecting that, you know, his disability of him not being able to hear, because they've got this great chemistry now where they can kind of read each other's thoughts now. And he's like, you know, and what they're and the way that they communicate, you know.
I
And
mean,
what
they're not. I don't think what's happening. I think like they're having communication a lot of problems, but they're somehow getting by through these moments because it's all built up as comedy.
it's
Like
comedy,
she's
but
it's
it's a
funny, it's
relationship
hilarious.
that's starting to form there. You know, she's kind of getting to know Clint, he's getting
Yeah.
to know her, and they're starting to form that kind of student teacher relationship in a way where they can kind of read each other a little bit, you know? And I
Yeah,
like that.
and that's pretty evident too, because like yeah, like once he lost his hearing aid, she has a thought, and of course he doesn't hear her, and then he relays the same thought, and and she's like, oh, that's a good idea. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're on the
But
same
she's being
wavelength, they're on the
sarcastic
same
as
thought
F.
process.
Like she's just like, I wish you would have told me that 5 minutes ago. Is what she's really trying to say.
Yeah,
Pretty
and it's
much.
funny.
But
It's
there's
funny.
there are other times where she said something to where it's like, oh, should we do this? Should we do that? And then he says, we need to do this, or even like what was it, walk the dog or feed the dog or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like so it's like stuff
Probably walk the dog.
that they're thinking about. Yeah. So
Yeah,
like they're kind of getting on the same page.
and the other funny part I kind of liked about the episode is that they're leaving and they're trying to get an escape vehicle of any kind. And she's going for the Charger, the Challenger. And he's like, no, 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 leave that car alone. Let's go ahead and get the old Cadillac. And just like, but and he's like, no, just get in the car, get the old Cadillac. And he's trying to hotwire the thing, and then he finally gets it
Yeah.
going. And this thing's like a tank, man. I'm like, you're gonna try to get away in a freaking dinky Cadillac that's probably like weighs as much as a tank. This thing's solid. And it's funny just to see them trying to escape in this thing, and they get as far as the bridge, and then of course you can go no further because of the traffic. But the
Yeah.
cool thing, the best thing that I think that fans appreciated of the episode was the trick arrows,
Yeah.
Yes.
particularly the one that said Pim on it, and he's
Oh
like,
yeah.
"You shoot the arrow," and she shoots the arrow in the air first, and then he takes out the one that says Pim and he shoots that one in the air, and it hits the other arrow, comes back down, and then the damn thing is massive, and it takes out the van that's coming towards them, that's trying to run them over. And she's like, "Whoa!" Every time she gets a trick
Yeah.
arrow, she's just like, "Oh my god, whoa! Look at that one!" And he's just like, "Yeah, this is it's a tool." I think
Yeah.
that's the
He's
difference
used to it.
yeah, and the way that they think. He's like,
No biggie.
these
Yeah.
are tools, that he's using. And like he even goes as far as like trying to take away some of the arrows. No, 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 no. You can't use that one. You can't use that one. You can't use that one.
That one's too dangerous.
That's
Yeah.
too dangerous, And it's funny to me because she's like, "Are these trick arrows?" And she's like so excited.
Mhm.
And then when they get to the bridge scene, they even shoot the arrow at that one guy, one of the tracksuit mafia guys, and it's nothing more than like a blank, a dud. It's like it just
It
has
was
No,
napalm on
the
it.
USB.
USB arrow.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like boop. It just hits him. It's like boop. Nothing happens. So it's just hilarious to see that part of the episode. I think that's when
Yeah.
Hawkeye is at its best. Yes,
Mhm.
they put him in dire situations and they try to make it action packed. But I think the heart of Hawkeye is just not taking it serious. It's a comedy first and foremost, and just seeing Clint in the character Hawkeye with Kate Bishop, and that the way that they have this comedic chemistry is it's just fun to watch. It makes you laugh. It's funny. You laugh
Oh
at the
yeah.
expressions. It's like as being a father, with kids, you're just like they think everything is so cool, and you're like, no, I just want to get through the day. I'm tired.
Yeah.
So I can feel his pain.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy Renner's so cool. I kind of wish he was more either aggravated or like he would get more flustered in kind of dealing with not being able to communicate or like her not listening or but he doesn't. He always just plays it like really cool and I'm just like some of these comedic moments I think would be enhanced if he was actually a little bit more flustered about it. But I still appreciate the comedy in this show. I like when, she's shooting the putty arrow and she hits the windshield and then he's like, shoot the putty arrow at the wheels. And she's like, oh, that's a great idea. I'll do that next. But she's already shot it. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
When she shoots the grenade arrow and like blows up a van, and then she was like, "There were 4 more arrows more dangerous than that one?" Like, that's all really funny stuff.
Yeah, the
She's
acid
delivering
arrows too.
Yeah.
say what?
The acid arrows, and then they had the other arrows that had
That was
like
a little
wires
pointless.
that reached out.
There was, like the Challenger was the only thing chasing them, and he's like, "Acid arrow, take out the lights." And then, like,
I
the
think he was
Challenger
trying to
just
cause
drove
traffic.
he just drove the Challenger just drove the intersection like nothing
Yeah.
happened. So just like, "Oh, okay, that was kinda cool, I guess." Shoot? Well, he didn't wanna damage the Challenger, so I get that part. I
Yeah.
like the grappling arrow that like caught
Yeah.
all the Christmas trees and like pulled them towards it. I'm like, dude, that was pretty cool. And then the plunger arrow, which we thought was useless, but he uses it at the end to, grab
Stick-
on to the
To
subway
repel. Yeah.
train. Yeah,
Yeah,
as
and it's funny though her reaction. Oh, so that's what it's for.
that's
Yeah.
what.
Because
Or
that
I
one
like.
almost seemed like a dud too at first.
Well,
Yeah.
I
It just
liked
stuck
what
to the
she
window. It
said.
didn't do anything. Yeah.
I liked what she said. She shot it and she's like, "What was that trick? That it was useless."
Yeah.
That was pretty
You,
good.
one of the things that I think we're gonna probably see in this next episode is I always thought that somebody else made the arrows for Hawkeye, right? For Clint. But it seems like he's the guy that's actually making his own stuff. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He's
Mhm.
making his own trick arrows. I'm like, where did he learn this skill? And is this something that he's gonna pass on to her? That's pretty amazing that he had the tech savvy to kind of create these things.
It's all that shield training, like all that learning, and of course it's just grown since then. Um,
Mm.
I was actually going to elaborate a little bit on what Ted said about how he's not, it doesn't get aggravated. I think it goes back to the shield training. Like he's been trained to adapt in any situation, and focus on the mission at hand. Right now it's survive, get away from Echo as best as possible, quickly as possible, and go get that hearing aid fix because now he's at a disadvantage. And she's had years of training under without sound, and whereas he's this is a crutch for him, the hearing aid. So um, I think the whole I agree. I would like to see him get frustrated, but then I feel like it would make it more of a comedic show and less of a comic book story. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to be more like, oh, it's a funny show, and it's comic related. I don't know if that
Yeah,
makes sense, but like I like where it's at. The comedic, the amount of comedy in here is perfect for me so far.
I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying in some moments it would be funny
Yeah,
to see him get a little bit more flustered. But instead, I do like the dynamic that they're never able to really talk to one another, and
yeah,
they're just stumbling over each other's thoughts, and it somehow escape by the skin of their teeth at the end. So yeah, I mean, I still like it. I don't think it's bad. I think it's really good.
right.
It's a interesting dynamic that I can't remember the last time I've seen something like that where like two people couldn't really communicate that well and were doing like a mission or something. Maybe Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I love, by the way.
Yeah,
Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, because they were a married couple, and so the communication between married people is very challenging at times. And so when you're trying to complete a mission while being married, um, those barriers come into play. Those
yeah,
obstacles of talking to one another come into play. So yeah, maybe something like that, but not the exact same element. But I kind of gotten those little feels about it. um, we are not talking enough about the uncle that we see in the flashback,
hmm
who's sort of meeting her and has major ties to organized crime.
You can't
This
mistake the voice nor the hand.
yeah.
is got to be the Joker. No, I'm just kidding. Wilson
Wrong
Fisk.
universe. Yeah,
There you go.
The
Yeah,
kingpin.
the absolute kingpin, and that has been maybe rumored for quite some time. We have all these characters that are sort of tied to Kingpin and tied to Daredevil in many comics, but to see, literal character in the flashback and then to have him name dropped, like that's
yeah,
pretty massive. So it's a tease, but I don't think it's a tease that's not going to go away. I think they're going
right.
to definitely have to play on it in the future, and that makes me really excited for what's to come.
Yeah, because didn't he even tell Kate Bishop? He's like, no, there's a guy above her. And trust me, you don't want
Yeah,
to mess with him.
Hmm.
You know, he's bad
yeah.
news.
Almost like he kind of had an idea at that point, and I like. I hope. I'm sure he'll come out, even if it's like the very last episode. Because at this point, we only have what, three more
Yeah,
episodes to
we're
go.
halfway through. Yeah,
Yeah, and so I'm hoping he comes out, which could lead into like a season two or something. But I like that these small-ish characters, because it ties in the other shows, or it's kind of like what we were talking about Bad Batch the other day. They have the movies and everything's tied in. You see these characters in other iterations of the show, or the Star Wars, and same thing with here. You've always wondered like, oh, how come we never saw like Spider-Man and Daredevil or something like that? Well, because he wasn't pertaining to the story at the time, but here, this seems like he's going to be important. So it's pretty cool to see that. Hopefully he'll come out, and just knowing that even if we ever just saw the hand and his voice or the laugh or whatever,
Hmm.
like I think that's really cool. And then later on, maybe in season two, he'll actually come out or something.
Yeah, I
heck yeah.
think one of the things that we also kind of didn't really touch on, but it was there, was when Echo was asking if he kind of knew who Ronan was, and he's like, "No." Remember when he said he's dead? You know, one of the things that I don't think we talked enough about is
Yeah.
that's significant because that means that when Natasha actually found him, that's when Ronan died. You know,
Yeah.
so he's like, "Who? He's dead." You know, so I thought that was pretty cool how they still kind of did a callback towards that was a significant, you know, part in his Ronin arc. You know, that's when the character actually died, never returned again when Natasha came for him, you know?
That's how I
I
see it too, because some people were saying like, "Oh, it was a cop out," or how are you going to blame somebody who's dead? You know, or it's convenient. Just like even Echo said,
Yeah.
it's convenient that Widow's the one that killed him, and but yet she's dead, so we have no proof. But I think it's more of like what Joe was saying. The you know, Hawkeye Ronin may not actually be dead, but the Ronin part of him was killed off by Natasha, so to speak. You know, so I think that's how I see it. Not like she literally killed him.
Yeah.
I don't think that Kate's this naive. I definitely feel like she almost knows that he's Ronin. I mean,
I don't think she
episode
knows yet.
Echo.
I think
episode
she has
episode
an idea.
2, Clint's going around looking, or episode 1 and 2, I guess. Clint's going around looking for like his suit. Like he's
Yeah.
not kind of being shy about that. I thought he was like, I got to get my suit. I got to get my suit. You're wearing, my suit.
Did
And
he ever say my suit? I thought he's
No,
just saying like the suit or Ronin's suit.
that's good. He says
Because I
that,
thought he's been very careful about it.
yeah, he hasn't
Because
said
that's just going to open up more questions from her, from Kate.
you
well,
know,
I
but one of
think
the
he
things
knows to be careful because I think because he's being so careful, she's walking on eggshells, not wanting
Hmm.
to cross that line too soon.
but that's the thing, he wasn't really careful. If you go back to that scene where Natasha met him, right? In the alley, you know, when that alley scene,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, he took his mask off.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, in the middle of a street, there's cameras all over the place. You can't tell me that somewhere, some way, somehow, somebody's got
Hmm.
footage of that. You know, I think that's going to be. They keep showing that scene, and to me, that's significant because I think that's going to be a part to play in the series moving forward. I think somebody knows who he is, and they're going to show that, you know,
Gotcha.
to him, and they're gonna you've been had. In other words, you know, even though
Or
you're
she'll
trying to
find out.
conceal this, yeah, he's trying to conceal this, and I think at the end he's gonna be had. You know, hey, you are the Ronin. So you're gonna have to atone for all the things that you've done. You know, you've been
Right.
trying to live a double life, and it's coming for you. You know, so I think this is his closure to Ronin. You know, and him moving forward as Hawkeye
Hmm.
from this point on. You know, so he's not gonna always look like the golden boy anymore. He's done some bad stuff, you know. He's done some
Yeah.
things. But
Let's hope that if Clint doesn't make it home for Christmas, that he makes it home at all. Because,
Period. Yeah.
like you said, he has to atone for those sins and the sins for killing innocents. We don't know exactly what Echo's father did to how far he was involved with any
I'm
criminal
sure he wasn't
activity,
an
but
innocent man either. He's probably done some things too, you know.
it
I mean, he
maybe,
was
or he
wearing
was just
a
at the wrong place
tracksuit.
at
I
the
mean,
wrong time.
he was part of the tracksuit mafia, or at some point, maybe like an early version of it. Like he has to have deep ties
People wear
with
tracksuits
Kingpin.
all the time, man. All right, they're not all just criminals, bro.
It's either
He could have been
breakdancers,
a breakdancer.
tracksuit
Yeah,
mafia, or Run DMC. That's it.
You know,
he was
I was
he
going to
was a
tell you, did any
breakdancer. It's New York City. He was just minding his own business, trying to do a donkey
It was the
kick,
'80s.
and
oh
he got
my
stabbed.
god. Did anybody catch the conversation that Hawkeye was having with Kate Bishop when they kind of jumped in the car? He's like, again, he had asked her, was there anything else that these guys were looking for
Hmm.
at the auction?
She
Can
has
you
no
think?
idea.
She's like, no, I don't know. You know, there's something up. He knows that they're looking for something else, and I think he kind of has an idea, but he just hasn't said anything yet. You know,
Have
things.
they brought up the sword? Like, does he know? I mean, I'm sure. Obviously, he knows the sword's not with her, but has he shown any kind of concern at this point about the sword?
He hasn't until the end of that episode. when he
Right.
has it at his throat, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I know they're looking for the watch. The mafia is looking for the watch, which I'm curious as to what kind of watch they're looking for and why is it so important.
Still, we don't know, right? They didn't talk
Yeah,
about this episode at all.
Maybe the watch has the identity of Ronin in it. Maybe that's why they
maybe.
want it so bad, because look who's leading the charge. It's Echo that
Yeah,
wants
you're
Yeah.
that
right.
watch so bad. It has some
Mm,
information in it, and maybe it has the identity of Ronin, you know?
true.
That
I'm
would
telling
be
you, man.
that would make some sense. That would make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
think
believe
it's
it.
gonna be something bigger, you know, but I'm like, hey, it's his identity, you know. Maybe it's some type of little USB drive or something that has
Yeah.
a photo or that video where he took his mask off in that scene with Natasha, you know,
Yeah,
that shows his face.
I
I
concur.
like it.
I could easily see that it's probably what it is. It has something to do with the identity of Ronin because that's what Echo is most that's what she wants the most, revenge for the death of her father. So
If
yeah.
he, if that's the case, then that's gonna put his family at risk now, big time.
Hmm.
Oof. Yeah, good point.
I'm telling you, we're gonna get like a cliffhanger for season one, and hopefully it leads into season two. But yeah, I think maybe Kingpin is gonna be like at his house or something, at the farm.
I think
Oof.
there's gonna be
Oof.
some. I think what's gonna happen is we all assume that Clint's gonna wind up getting home for the holidays, and it's all gonna be, you know, like a Disney ending. I kind of get the impression that that's not gonna be what happens. I think he's gonna wind
Who
up
knows? Yeah.
missing the Christmas holidays because they're gonna find out who he is, and that might be flashed across all the screens, you know, kind of like they did with Spider-Man. That would be
Hmm.
huge. And can you imagine if his kids are watching the news or watching TV, and they're like,
Yeah.
the identity of Ronin is none other than Clint Barton, Hawkeye, and it'd be like, oh, you know.
Yep. Jeez.
And that is our talk on the episode 3 of the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus. We want to hear from you. What was your favorite moment? What are your theories going forward? Drop those in the comments below this video, or you can send us a message on Facebook by clicking that send message button, or email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowntothegeekcast.com. Gentlemen, are you in the Christmas spirit?
I am.
For sure, man.
Are
Always.
you are
Me and
you
Jericho
in
are in the
the
Christmas shape. Let's put it like that.
we had talked about doing a little bit of a bit regarding the Christmas or the holiday season, if you will. So this is going to be our Christmas time favorite movies and songs portion of this episode. And it's really just about discussing our top, what is it, top 3 favorite Christmas movies, and then a couple of our favorite songs. So, gentlemen, I guess we'll go 3, 2, 1, like third best movie, second best, first best movie, and we'll go around. Jericho, we'll start with you, man. Give us your top 3 Christmas films.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh, you're the one that didn't do this, right?
Yeah,
He did
no, I
homework.
no. But it's easy though. It's easy. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
say number three will be the Santa Claus, Tim
Okay.
Allen. Okay, and that one's
The
really good.
original?
The original, yeah. I think I've only seen part two. I don't think I've seen the other two, or whatever there is. But yeah, the first one. Um, Number two would have to be Home Alone.
Mm.
The first Home Alone. Both are great, but I mean the first one is just OG. And then number three is gonna have to be. I think it's on a lot of people's list. A Christmas Story.
Interesting. Awesome.
Christmas Story, yeah, with Ralphie and Randy and all them.
Well done. Well done. Joe, what say you, sir?
My top 3 Christmas movies that I like Die Hard, the original Die Hard. Yes, it is a Christmas
Cool.
movie. I also like Christmas Vacation, you know, the OG Christmas
Yes.
Vacation. You got to love that one. And also the 2000 live action version of the Grinch, directed by Ron Howard, that featured Jim Carrey as the iconic Grinch. That's to me. I love that movie. You get all the jokes now. That the kids don't get because it's kind of more adult oriented. So it's a lot of fun. It's funny, man. I like those movies.
Awesome. That's a good list.
Mine is sort of similar to Jericho's with like one exception. So number 3 for me is the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, the original. Can't beat that one, I think.
Hmm.
As far as like Santa Claus movies goes. Number 2 is Elf, and we watch Elf like
Oh yeah.
religiously in this house.
But
It's a
Buddy the Elf.
classic, and it was made to be a classic by Jon Favreau of all people.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely love Elf.
They
And
did have a
then
part two on the table as well. It just didn't fall
Hmm.
through.
interesting, did I know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my number 1 Christmas movie of all time, never gonna change. It's always gonna be number 1. It's the funniest Christmas movie for me, and I grew up on it, is Home Alone 2. Sup, Rick, kid? Whoa! I absolutely adore Home Alone 2. When I first
Yeah.
watched as a kid, I remember not I remember laughing throughout. Like once the action started in the last act of the movie, I laughed from the moment, you know, Marv and Harry showed up to rob the toy store. I laughed from that point all the way to the end, and I probably never laughed that hard in my life since then. So yeah, favorite Christmas movie, Home Alone 2. We
Nice.
watch it all the time around this
I
time of year.
gotta say, man, that bird lady, that pigeon lady's kind of scary though, man. If you're a kid, I mean, she's the stuff of
Yeah.
nightmares.
Absolutely,
Oh, for sure.
absolutely, covered in bird poop.
That's a good
Yeah,
list too, though.
Yeah.
I love Home Alone. I would say, yeah, I think Home Alone 2, it's had a lot more laughs in it, but I mean, for me, Home Alone 1, it's the first one, it's the original. Um, it was hard to accept that he got left behind again, or got,
A
sent
second
to
time.
another state.
he
Uh,
followed the
but I
wrong
love the
guy in the
movie though.
same coat. He followed the wrong guy in the same coat,
Yeah,
and
but I love it though. I mean,
he
it's
dropped his
still a great film.
passport, and yeah, it
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
tracked.
got you.
And it's the same formula. I agree with you. It's the exact same formula, but I think it's executed better. I feel like it's
Yeah.
more of an emotional movie.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, and I feel like the emotional relationships between the bird lady and her family weighed heavier than the street
Old
icer
man. Yeah,
and
I
his
forgot what his name
family.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just kidding. But no, I agree, and it was just funnier. I I
Oh yeah, for
laughed
sure.
way more, for sure.
I
I
think
mean,
I
Tim
got
Curry.
homework
Come
for
on.
you guys.
Huh?
I got homework for you guys for the next episode. My
Uh-oh.
kids make me watch every single stop motion animated flick that comes out, all the bad ones, from way back in the day. We watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which is a classic, but then you have the other offshoots, which is like the Baby New Year, the Little Drummer Boy, is it Santa Claus is coming to town. You have another one where they show the origin of Santa Claus. I mean, they play them all, I think, on Freeform. So
Yeah.
you got to come up with at least one or two that are your favorites, your guilty
Okay.
pleasures that you like
I like
watching.
it.
If you see it on, you're going to stop and watch it. Which ones are your favorite that are Christmas oriented, or
All
themed?
right.
Not the
That
new
works.
ones. I'm talking about the OG ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And you've had to have watched it. You can't just say, "Oh, I like this movie," and you haven't watched it. No, that's not going to count.
If you've seen it
Definitely,
at least
definitely.
once, yeah. I
Yeah,
Yeah.
got you.
absolutely. We this is not the end. We also decided we're gonna call out our 2 favorite Christmas songs. Jericho, I'm very interested to hear yours. Drop them.
Mariah Carey.
We said no, no way. You said two, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, "Happy Christmas" by John Lennon,
Ooh.
because it's him and Yoko, I don't know, it's just a really beautiful song, and just the fact that the kids are singing in there too, like a little choir. If you just really listen to the words, the lyrics, like it's really, really nice. Um, and then Santa Claus is coming to town, but a very specific one, the Bruce Springsteen live version. That one is just
There
such
you
a
go.
fun song, and I mean, he has a good time in the song. You can hear it, and that one is like my top two all-time favorite Christmas songs. There's a bunch. I started listening to Christmas music probably around beginning, but those two are my absolute top favorite.
Fantastic, fantastic. Joe, what about you, man?
No, mine's easy, dude. I always like the Eagles, so Please Come Home for
Mm,
Christmas is one of the
yeah.
ones I always enjoy listening to. And the other one is a CD I brought years ago when my son was just maybe one. It was a very special Christmas. It was a CD that came with a compilation of the some of the most recognized bands of that time. You know, and it was like around the early 2000s, and it was a song by No Doubt called "Oi to the World." I love that
Oh,
song. That
that's a
song's
good one.
badass. Yeah,
I
I gotta
like
check
that one.
this out.
yeah, man. I always
I'm actually
remember that.
surprised to hear that from you, Joe.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I bought the disc. You know, we're at the
Yeah.
store. You know, and I was like, "Hey, this is cool. It has all these bands on it. I'm gonna buy it." And it was cool. It was a good album. You know, I think I still got it. You know, in my CD collection. To say it, man. But I do like that song. If you haven't heard it before, go check it out on YouTube.
That's a really good song. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got two. One that's like a serious one, one that's a funny one. I love to hear in every variation that I can find, "Oh Holy Night."
Hmm. Yep.
I maybe because they play it in Home Alone. That might be what it is, but I don't know. I have a tie to that song, so I want to
Hmm.
hear as many people sing it as I can, and yeah, absolutely love it. And the other one is, I don't know why, but I just love listening to this song around Christmas time,
I
and
carry.
they don't play it anywhere. It's not on the radio, so I have to kind of find it on my own. But every now and then, I just have to play.
Yes. Yes. Now I hear it. I was like, what is that? That is awesome. I actually had that as my ringtone at one point, but the Strokes version.
Oh, okay.
That's an awesome. Yeah. Do you know where that's from, Joe?
I don't know. I don't know where that's from. I've heard it before.
This
It's
is
from.
from
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live,
Ah,
and it's Horatio Sands singing and playing like a guitar ukulele type thing. Jimmy
yeah.
Fallon on like a Casio piano.
I wish
Uh,
it was Christmas.
Chris Kattan is the
Yeah.
stand of the Casio piano,
Yeah.
and
Tracy Morgan
Tracy Morgan is
just
just
doing a
dancing.
little dance next
Same
to it.
thing. He's just
Dude,
doing this.
I used to
Show
I
us
have
love.
to send you
your
a
dance
link for
move,
it, Joe.
Jericho.
Yeah, I used to love
What's that?
Chris Castan and the impression he used to do of the little Girl Scout, the little Girl Scout trying to the Girl Scout,
Yeah.
trying to sell the Girl Scout cookies. We used to make fun of my sister-in-law because she used to do that, and we always
Oh
used to tell
shit.
her when she would walk around the neighborhood with the cookies, "You want to
There
buy
you go,
some
Joe.
cookies?" Yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome. I'll send you a link, Joe, because it's hilarious, and I think they did it for while they were pretty much all on the show. They did it for years, like pretty much each Christmas time.
Well,
They
they
even
bring
actually did they did it back on the Jimmy Fallon show a few years ago. Like they all came back together to do it.
yeah, because I've heard that song before. I think it was like you were saying, it was the one that the Strokes did with
Yeah,
Julian Calabasas.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They did. It's like I think whenever it was a few years ago when Jimmy Fallon hosted I think it was like the Christmas episode, like for the season, the finale for the season, and the Strokes were the guests, and yeah, they ended up doing the song for them. So I thought that was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and they bring them back like every 6 7 years to kind of
Yeah,
do that all over again. So yeah, absolutely love when they bring those guys back, and it's
Yeah.
always fun.
that's awesome.
And I think they sometimes play longer versions, but every time they bring them back, it's just hysterical
It's funny.
because
Like
it's so funny and it's just
Yeah,
fun. And that's what Christmas songs are supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. And so that one always gets me. Just gets me. Puts a
yeah.
biggest smile on my face every
I
time I
also
hear it.
like
Hmm.
listening to the Adam Sandler Christmas.
Oh
That
yes,
was
that one's
that was
good.
an honorable mention on my list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely honorable mention, man. But what's up with the radio stations here in San Antonio? It's like some of the most popular stations, they're not really playing a lot of Christmas
Mm-mm.
music, not
No,
right
but
Yeah,
now.
they
they'll
usually
do
do
it
it
the week
more.
of.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
do a lot closer to Christmas or even day of. But like 101.9, they play Christmas.
yeah,
Was it like starting from Thanksgiving, something like that?
yeah. Like I think it was a day after Thanksgiving or the day of
Yeah,
Thanksgiving they started playing music.
yeah.
Christmas music.
Yep.
That's where I would. That's where I kind of got my obsession, where I would listen to there, and then because I was like, hey, you can listen to it in November, like it just Thanksgiving just passed. But then once Spotify came around, I was like, oh, I started doing it much sooner. Listening much sooner.
Yeah,
Yep.
And
Ted's
we have XM
Clemente.
radio. We have XM radio, so we listen. There's like three that I know of Christmas channels, and they have really good mixes there. So
That's
really good
nice, dude.
variations.
Chris, Ted needs to make our Christmas mix on
Yes.
Spotify, the CCG Christmas mix on Spotify,
I'm on it, sir. I'm on it. I'm on it.
where we can share it with the peeps.
Yep.
Absolutely. And we want to hear from you guys. Let us know your top 3 Christmas movies of all time. Like, what do you and the family have to watch every single Christmas? Another honorable mention is Nightmare Before Christmas. Only reason why
Yeah.
I didn't call that one out is because we kind of watch it every week already. So, yeah. And then also give us your top 2 favorite Christmas songs. If you have more than 2, drop those as well. We want to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe. We're going to continue our Young Justice and Hawkeye discussion series next week. Also, head on over to our YouTube channel to catch me bashing zombie heads as I do my 7 Days to Die playthrough. Alpha 20 just launched today and this week, and it's the biggest update for the video game in its entirety. So, lots of very cool things, and I hope a lot of people play it because the gold release will be here very soon, if not within the next year, maybe a year and a half. But the game is incredible, and I hope you guys check it out. And Jericho and I are also doing Bad Batch, a retrospective series on YouTube. Catch those videos. Just go find the Star Wars playlist, and they're in there. And then we're excited. It's a busy month. This month, we're going to do reviews for The Matrix Resurrections, as well as Spider-Man No Way Home. And this week, I will be conducting the Q&A sessions with Ernie Hudson at the Celebrity Fan Fest Film Festival, which is taking place December 9th through the 12th. If you want to find out how to get tickets, head on over to the Facebook page for Celebrity Fan Fest and find out where you can buy tickets. It's going to be at 3 separate Evo locations, the Selma, the Kyle, as well as the New Braunfels location between like just east of San Antonio. So hope you guys can make it. You can get a photo or get an autograph from Ernie Hudson, and all it requires is a purchase of a gift card. You can't beat that. That's just incredible. You're not going to get that kind of deal anywhere else at a convention. So if you want to meet Winston Zeddemore himself, head on over to Celebrity Fan Fest on Facebook and find out how you can get tickets. And I will see you there. For
Yeah,
the Geekcast,
I got a good poll question before we bring this to a close. I think we should
Yeah.
put this on social media, though.
what's
Uh,
that?
and that is, let's ask the people: do they think Edward Scissorhands is a Christmas movie?
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I think we
Very,
should leave that up to the people. Let's put it on social media.
Okay.
done. We'll do that. For the Geekcast, my name is Steady. With me on this episode is a man behind the magic. You know him as Joe Garcia.
Hey, thanks for watching. And again, if you like this, make sure you subscribe and you like, our social media channels. We greatly appreciate everybody for, supporting us and listening and putting up with all of our shenanigans. So thanks again for watching and listening to us.
And we also got the master of the universe. You know him as Jericho.
I
I'll
like
take it. I'll take it. Later, y'all.
Have a good night, folks. See you next week.